Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Group of Death in the Americas VCT officially got underway last night, and it definitely did not disappoint. Some banger series, especially Sentinels versus Loud, and also Lev versus 100 Thieves was a fascinating one as well. But Sen, not the result they were looking for to start out their campaign against a familiar foe in Loud and Sudak over at the other side. What is the future of this Sen team going to be? The team does believe, however, that they played pretty well, and they'll bounce back big time in their first series coming up on Monday. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, I thought it was pretty cool from Tarek. He won the Best FPS Stream of the Year award at like a QT Cinderella's Streamer Awards thing that they did. So that was kind of cool to see, of course, on Sentinels at the moment. And we'll see their series here in a second. But firstly, we have to discuss what eventually happened in the Pacific. So finally, they got their series done. They got some of the tech pauses and the delays ironed out. This was the longest best of three of all time. It was a 3-hour delay, 2-hour delay before they even got underway, and the series itself lasted roughly 5.5, 6 hours. So if you watched it, fair play, you know what I mean? If you really watched all this, and in the end, T1 get the win. But as I say, you've always got to think there's a little bit of a grain of salt here. I know that Bleed were not especially impressive. Certainly on the map 2, they got slammed here 13-6, and I don't know why Ye is on the sky. I don't really know what they're cooking over there, to be honest with Bleeds, because I definitely expected Ye. I mean, Ye was on the neon and the sky. It's like, are we sure this is the way to go, Bleeds? And yeah, very aim duel-y, not much team cohesion map 2. So I want to give some credit to T1 because they played well. Easy actually looks really promising as well. But at the end of the day, with like a 7.5 hour, 8 hour series, you've always got to think that their head might have been gone to some extent. So we'll see how Bleed fare in the losers bracket. We'll see how that's going to look in a second. But this was the Zeta versus Global Esports series. And in the Americas, we saw some close series last night. But I thought we just saw some really high level Valorants being played. Like just great teams locking horns. This was not one of those series here in the Pacific, really. Global Esports, I don't think they were particularly special. And okay, Zeta got the victory, 13-10, 13-7, so relatively comfortable. But yeah, this new Global Esports roster with all sorts of different nationalities, it's not looking that good so far. Okay, early days, but no one was really expecting that much to get out of this group, I don't think, regardless. So this is the group. We've got T1 Zeta up in the winner side. Bleed will then play Global Esports in the elimination match. And then on Group B, that's now got underway as well. And actually, if we just have a look here, so there was one more series of yesterday actually as well, Gen.G versus RRQ, which I'll just have a look at. That was a 2-1 to Gen.G. I think RRQ played pretty solid, but Texture really came to play. I think there's been rumors that in practice, this Texture Meteor duo has been frying, and it was certainly true here. So Icebox, they won 13-11. They lost the split 13-11, and it was actually a 13-8. So close series. So fair play to RRQ, but they go down. Gen.G go on to play Paper Rex, of course, to get out of the group, but you know, you might well expect a rematch here on the deciding side. And then as we can just see, Talon Esports honestly just battered Team Secret 2-0. I knew this Talon Esports team was going to be pretty good. NDG got slammed, but yeah, the way they won this series, I was kind of surprised at, really. I mean, Governor sends his regards with a 46-1 over 2 maps here, 13-8, 13-3, not even close. And that was their map pick, by the way, Secret. So, yeah, I mean, the Pacific is an interesting region this season. It's kind of fascinating to see how it's going to trend. And DRX versus Detonation is now getting underway. But yeah, Talon looking particularly impressive, and this game has just started. Thankfully, the tech delays have calmed down to some degree. There's still problems with the production. There's still things they need to fix. I know there's still people saying that, like, look, why don't they just get the guys that run the Africa TV tournament to come and do it for them? Which might not be the worst idea in the world anyway. And especially in this, in the Pacific region, they don't, I'm pretty sure it's not their own arena, is it, right? They don't own the venue, so I guess that causes other difficulties as well. But this is what is happening right now in the Pacific side. But let's talk about the Americas, because Sentinels versus Loud, the most hotly anticipated match of the season so far, no doubt about it. Because Sunak was talking a lot going into this this tournament, really, about the fact that they were getting overlooked, they were getting underrated, they were better than people gave them credit for. And I agreed. I mean, I think my perception was of Loud that they were getting overlooked to some degree, but I still thought that having them being the 4th best team on paper in the Americas wasn't a bad shout. I mean, you've got Sentinels, who looked really good in the off-season. You've got, of course, you know, Levia Tono on paper really good. And then NRG, again, on paper, a fabulously good team. So I thought Loud losing Aspas, sure, they'd probably be better than maybe people were giving them credit for, but I still thought that up against Sentinels, it would be difficult to predict them to have the edge. But Loud are just one of these teams that when push comes to shove and when the tournament matches really begin, they just always deliver. They also have like insane talent scouts as well. Like they've always got insane youngsters coming into the team. And yes, Aspas is gone, but they will not try and let that hurt them. And it's no secret really that Sadak deserves way more credit as a leader than I think he's really had in his career. And if Loud really go on to succeed big time this year, Sadak will have to be like the GOAT IGL of Valorant. I mean, even the play that he made here to end up closing out this map 1. This was a map 1 that Sen will really feel like they could or should have won. They had an advantage early on, and I think Sentinels played well in this series for sure. This should have really been Sentinels map though. They needed, I think, to win their map pick here on the split. They didn't quite. Then they went to an Ascent, and actually it was a fascinating Ascent because Loud brought some new tricks to the party. There's been lots of talk really that Ascent it's too stale, it's, you know, the meta's always the same, nobody does anything different, but Loud and other teams are cooking up interesting compositions on this map, and the fact that Loud brought the, they brought the Phoenix into play, they brought the Viper into play on this map was not something that you usually see. Of course, Kawazan was on the Brimstone, and this was not something that Sentinels were prepared to deal with really when they got to their attacking side. So I thought Sentinels played well this series, but I just thought Loud played better. Did Sentinels play at quite the level that they played during the Africa TV tournament? Maybe not quite, but Loud just really came to play in this one, and I don't think the Sentinels, I think honestly I was impressed by Sentinels, to be perfectly honest, but as time progressed, Loud just really brought some new ideas to the party on the Ascent and just ran away with that defensive side, and Sen ran out of ideas really on their attacking rounds. Sassy 24 in 14, he was going at it. I think game 1 was pretty funny really because Sassy was having a hard time, so was Sadak, but then towards the end he really turned it around. So yeah, Quick of course coming in here on the Rays. Aspas also turned up big time in the series we're going to discuss here in a second. But Loud get the 2-0 victory against Sen. This was always a really difficult series to call, but the group of death is officially underway, and clearly some incredibly good teams in that group. I think Sentinels are going to have a very hard time even winning their next series based on the way that 100T looked in their matchup against Lev. So yeah, the haters said we could have do it. They were right, but it's of course not over yet. Down to the losers bracket. The tournament continues. As I've said before, though, you really want to be the number 1 seed, because if you're the number 2 seed coming out of the group, theoretically, you have to go through a harder run through the play-ins to then get to the playoffs. But as Zelsa says, where is Pancada? Because obviously people were saying, as Xander was saying, Loud did it for Pancada, right? Pancada benched. I'm sure that Pancada had maybe a bit of a smile on his face in some respects, and even Will says that straight up. Of course, Will, former 100 Thieves man, Pancada smiling so hard right now. So I thought the reaction to this was kind of funny, and as Elsa says, it seems like I never beat these guys, made some personal mistakes that could have brought us back into the game, will be better in the next series they play. And even Toys here, right, from Loud, comes out and replies to Zelsa's tweet the other day and says, yes, I'll beat your favourite team, yes, I love Brazil and all this stuff. And yeah, some good impression farming from both sides here, but definitely some roasts going down. Tens, of course, keeps it relatively short and sweet. Lost against Loud 0-2. GG's. But this I thought was interesting from Kaplan here. He says the following: the Ascent comp was tough. We needed to win our pick, and in order to do that, we just had to play more confident and relaxed than we did. I fully trust we will look much better on Monday out of the gate. So clearly Kaplan believes what Sentinels showed yesterday is not near their full potential. They can play much better than that. I think they'll need to, frankly, given out the strength of this group. But Kaplan reckons the bounce back come Monday is only going to be just around the corner. And obviously Zelsis, since he's joined the team, was undefeated to this point. But the season starts and, maybe the return of what we expect to see from Sentinels. But I think it's still very early days, and one series up against a team such as Loud probably doesn't say all that much. We'll find out a lot more about Sentinels when they play 100T just tomorrow. But 100T, they had a great chance to actually take down Leviathan here. And both of these teams are really impressive. Like, I was massively impressed by 100T in this series, to be honest. They lost the map 1 to Lev, but then they really destroyed them here on the split. Boostio is bringing the energy. We know that 100T have had the talent, but I do think that Boostio's IGLing style really works well with these guys. and brings out the energy necessary for them to succeed in the way that they have the talent to do. So I'm really excited for the future of this team, and also Com as well. I think it was great to see the fact that all of the Evil Geniuses guys, really, Ethan, Demon 1, Com, now of course Busio, really showing up on the teams that they've played for. Com played fantastic as well. Busio, I think, did a great job, but Aspas was just a little bit too good over the course of the series, and despite the fact that Busio got a nice little 3k here to keep the icebox going, eventually it was just too much, and Lev got over the line in a really close fought affair. And this was the game one, by the way, here on the binds, which Lev eventually took. But yeah, I think Lev did well for sure, and Aspas on the bind especially was a monster. He went 31 in 15. Not much you can do about that. But the fact that Thieves 13 threes Lev on split, I just thought was really impressive. EU Cryo really turned up in this one. Boostio was on the Gecko, which was somewhat unusual. We're seeing lots of really interesting compositions so far this year already, which teams have been cooking up over the winter. But yeah, on the map 3, Com played really well, 24 in 13. To get them the dub 13-11, and Asuna was on the Gecko having a hard time there. So maybe the Gecko isn't always the play, shall we say. But yeah, on the Icebox was interesting to see no Sage on either side. That obviously used to be kind of the go-to strategy on that map. Not so much anymore, it seems. But Aspas was obviously the star of the show, as is usually the case. So definitely Loud have lost something with Aspas, you've got to think. But obviously Sadak being Sadak and doing the what they've done behind the scenes at Loud, they still seem to be a real contender. But man, I mean, what a group it is right here. Lev, I mean, they played well in this one, absolutely. Loud played well in this one. They now play each other in the very next round. I mean, this is how it looks for now. So tonight, I believe in the Americas, all we have is Crew versus G2, which is very interesting. And then, of course, tomorrow is the start of the losers bracket games when we see Fury at MIBR and then Sen100T. Sen100T rematch elimination game. Man, that's going to be a banger. And then Loud Lev determines the group winner, which it's so tough to call how this group is going to go right now. So I'm very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Defeat, a lot of just not a lot of energy, a lot of just negative emotions surrounding the team based off just what I saw on stream. And this year I just am trying to bring just happiness, a lot of energy, just make them feel comfortable. And I think if they're comfortable, they're happy, no matter what's going on, we could be a very good team.
Of course, Busio there, you know.
Yeah, they're fucked.